just to kind of a general recap, you guys returned, obviously, from... Well, you closed the portal after some magic circles were drawn and magic was used. You came out with Beastbane waiting for you.
We shut him down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to use leverage, and then leverage got used against him. It was pretty glorious, actually.
He didn't
Thank
last.
you for taking the NPC beat down for our glory, Drew.
I mean, he genuinely was taken off guard by that. So
Yeah, I think he was designed to be an asshole, so it's okay.
yeah, it's fine. He is designed for that, right? So that happened. Ephelien dressed him down. Probably the worst beatdown I've seen to an NPC that isn't just a physical beatdown. So after that, you guys ended up going and got your stuff identified.
That's right. We got some cool magical objects.
That's right. You have new magical objects. Some of them you don't entirely know how they work. Others, one is at least you know is command word protected, password protected. And others you do know how to use. You guys were then trying to figure out what you needed to do. Cella sent a note back to her coven, kind of informing them of what happened, what transpired, what's going on. Braundir's trying to figuring out what to do with himself, other than leaving Durin because, well, there'd just be more trouble if he stayed, probably. And Ephelien as well was kind of there, trying to figure out what to do. Oh yeah, that's right, the crystals. That's right, I can't forget. You guys did take some of those crystals to be drained of the corruptive mana that they had in them. So you're waiting on those to get done.
Well, so far, it seems like Gerbo's the only one who has a clear vision for where he wants to go.
That's fair. Yeah, Gerbo now wants to go home.
By the way, I added Helm of Telepathy to my item list because that's what we said that I got.
Yeah.
And the image of it is like incredible. Like it is very legit.
Okay, nice. I think you could show it. Like, is it different than the one that we saw in Roll20?
Oh, it didn't show it there. So I'm going to. How do I add a picture in this little group?
You just link it.
Okay.
It's either that or you could post it on the Discord, I suppose. Actually, we could use the Discord. Play music, probably. Let's see. Nope. But as you guys were trying to figure out what your next move was, what's his name?
Oh yeah, Braundir's friend.
Braundir's wizard friend.
Yeah, he came up and gave us
Callahan?
vital instructions.
Oh yeah. This is the same as what we've. Yeah, I've actually got cards, like magic item cards, and that's the same image on the cards. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But yes, one of Braundir's wizard friends who was helping out with refugees coming out. Refugees are coming from the other continent. Former escaped slaves. Just to kind of refresh you guys on that situation.
Sorry, can you say it again?
I was just saying that one of Braundir, like Braundir knows two wizards that helped save his life long ago, and I think it's Callan, something
Yeah,
like that.
Callanan and
Callanan,
Gorgrin.
Gorgrin,
Gorgon.
Gorgrin, that's right. So Callanan was actually in Durin and found and sought out Braundir. Callanan was trying to get supply, basically ask for aid for the refugees from the city of Durin before they go south towards Adrianople, toward the capital of Palan, to basically ask for further shelter and aid from them because Pisana can't handle any more of these refugees coming in. While he was in the neighborhood, Callanan spoke to Braundir and mentioned to him that he and Ogren have sensed greater disturbances across the continent that have to do with elemental magics. And they suspect it has something to do with I think you would call them elemental focal points, where these temples are, of earth, air, fire, and water. And they want Braundir to look into that, to go to these temple sites and figure out what's going on and causing these disturbances. And they're afraid that if something isn't done soon, there could be many natural disasters that could be occurring.
And they chose Braundir because they knew of his history in Palan, or...
Well, they know about that. They know that you were part of the group that helped defeat a Lich Lord.
Yeah, okay. That'd be
I mean,
good.
it's not like you're out of it's not out completely out of left field or anything.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure, but...
And honestly, word travels fast. Well, because Pisana is, if you can see my
Yeah.
being, it's like in this region. It's not that far from Durin. So, I mean, within a few days, I would expect some word to have reached them by that point. And they could very well just have used magic to know what had happened.
Yeah.
So, and I'm aware of a glare, like on my camera. Well, it's like on me, like it's obscuring my mouth.
Do you have a window in your room?
Yeah, I do. The sun's just going down.
Nice. Not bad.
Uh,
As long as it doesn't affect you.
Yeah, we're good.
no, it's not my eyes, so it's fine.
You're not
Um,
weird.
So, where we last left off. Oh yeah, that's right. Cella became a spider and followed them. Ephelien hid. Callanan sensed Ephelien and basically told her to come out, and it was fine, but she refused.
Yeah.
But he didn't check Cella at all. I think that's about where we left off, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then we were kind of convened trying to figure out where to go.
Right.
Yeah,
Now,
I think we did go back in, and I saw Gerbo's artwork.
Oh yeah.
that's
Gerbo.
right. That's
Sounds
right. Beastbane sucks.
Yeah, that's good.
How could I forget?
That works, honestly. I got a +4 on initiative now, so y'all better watch out.
Oh man, that's intense.
Always intense.
So I guess the question is, well, I'm gonna say it's probably been at least a few hours. It's probably, basically, it's time for you guys to probably go and pick up the crystals.
Okay.
'Cause if I remember right, he said it would take them just like a few hours.
Right. I've got to wait a day for Nahid's ring,
Right.
so maybe we can use that time to plan.
Yeah.
Cella's not gonna. Cella's like is not free to go anywhere.
Right.
Until she's instructed to.
Yes.
So is Cella with us right now inside?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
right now.
Durin until she hears from her aunt.
And you communicate telepathically, or oh no, you said an animal, right?
Right. And if I remember right, you sent it yesterday.
Yeah.
I probably end of the day you sent it right after you guys got out of the cave network. So, okay, yeah.
And Gerbo stayed up all night reading the manual of bodily health.
That's right.
And
Doing
then,
an unhealthy thing by staying up all night.
yes, and then that's after that. That's when he, and in his looniness, his lack of sleep craze, thought it was a good idea to paint. Beastbane sucks.
Okay, I guess you're putting a little more rationale behind what he did.
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
works.
All right.
And if we're waiting around, like just in general,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna still take the time as we're waiting for stuff to continue reading this manual.
Okay.
So I currently have 20 hours on this thing,
yeah.
and I need 48.
Yep. Yeah, you got some time. So, what does everyone want to do?
So,
Wait for the guys to finish those crystals. That's one thing.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, Beastbane pretty much. Well, he told me to leave, but then Ephelien stepped in and Cella stepped in, so I don't know that I have that same urgency to leave as I would. But I'm gonna think that Braundir would still be laying low and maybe like in a lower level of the mountain, just kind of hanging out, like. And so what I'm gonna do is talk to the party.
Yeah.
And say, well, since we're waiting on those crystals, and I need Daz to give me something before we depart from here. He won't have that ready until tomorrow. I've like to go over the information that I've just received from my wizard friends. I know that some aren't as trustworthy, but in your eyes, but it seems that there is a grave danger, and the thing is they didn't say what direction. They didn't say where, and maybe it was because Ephelien, they knew that you would be able to sense that. I mean, has anything crossed your radar of something going awry? Because I don't know anything about these elemental temples.
Cannot detect any portals within 1 mile.
Not within 1 mile, no.
Okay. No,
Any knowledge, like foreknowledge of the temples being elemental, like any association with druids in this world?
Yes, they would.
Okay. I rolled an 18 for Arcana. Gerbo's rolling for history.
So you're not as familiar because with the order within your order, well, actually, just within most of the druidic circles, there just hasn't been as much crosstalk in the last several years. Most shamanic and druidic circles have kept to themselves, but you have heard of these elemental temples. You know or remember that at least one of them resides in Fannis Lake.
Oh shit!
You remember that
Oh,
much,
Okay.
but you can't remember right now where the other temple locations are.
Your
But
friend,
you,
your friend said all 4 of the temples, all 4 of the elemental temples. Right?
Yeah, pretty clearly, every one of them was being disrupted by some force or another. The Malcor, if I'm not mistaken, he said Malcor is back, which is unfortunate, but can't say it wasn't expected. So,
at the mental Malcor, I put my book down and kind of like look up, and like I've got like big eyes, like knowing like how like I can't like after like I'm literally reading a book to try to like be able to like be healthier and like not die. And like Malcor is like the one thing that I know will probably kill me.
Gerbo's had a long life. There's a reason.
Well, Cella, are you familiar with any of these temples?
Apparently, there's one in Fennis Lake. I can't remember where any of the others are, but perhaps we could try and do some research, try to ask your friend Gregor, who seems to know so much about the ancient world. And if he knows where the others are, and if they're any closer, we could go there first. But
Yeah, in Fannis Lake, that's Gerbo. That's close to your home.
I kind of sigh and I'm like, well, we all know that I wanted to go back, and while I would be very excited, the thought of battling Malcor again does frighten me a little bit.
Well, I can't blame you there, but the thing is Gerbo, we would actually need your scroll to go into the Amakara forest.
And at that point, I close the book, put the backpack in, and I'm like, when do we leave? I'm like ready, like literally, that's it. Like,
And to give you a context, Gerbo's home is here.
Wait, do it again.
Yeah,
Oh, right there. Okay.
Cool.
top right.
Amakara.
Well,
There's one other thing. It's hard to explain, but I really can't go anywhere else until my aunt tells me that I can. As much as I want to go with you, I'll have to wait and see if that's possible.
well, hopefully we'll hear back within a day, right?
That's usually how these things go.
That should work out well. Then hopefully that'll happen. I can get my ring from Daz. Gerbo can read. We can all rest. Get our crystals. Let's just hang out here, lay low. And Cella, do you need to be outside to receive your message, or can you be in here?
Well, now that you bring it up, I would like to be outside, and for a few reasons. Yes, to intercept the message, but also I'm curious about this talk of refugees arriving on the coast. I haven't ever been to the coast, but I do wonder what's driving so many people to our continent suddenly. How far of a journey is it from Durin?
It's about a day or so, right?
Thereabouts.
Well, how about we talk to the Sentinels? They usually have a good idea of what's going on around here. That would save us a day trip there, probably 3 days total. What do you think about that?
Fair enough. It's a good way to start.
So, okay, well, let's do that. Gerbo, do you want to stay here, or do you want to come with?
I think my character, while hearkening back to the Sentinels, would be good for him. I think it's more important for the long term for my character to like continuing with this book.
So
So
he
I'm
just
gonna go
wants to chill
I'm
out
gonna
and
go to
read.
the library, and I'm going to read the book.
Okay.
And if I encounter Gregor, I'll ask him about the other places.
Just remember, Gregor sold us out when you do see him.
To who?
To
Big
me,
fan.
Yeah, well,
You probably didn't know any better.
We showed, well,
Yeah.
didn't we show Beastbane who's boss?
yeah, but Gregor's still a little snitch.
He's a snitch with information. And if we're never coming back
Snitches
to,
get stitches.
yeah, if I'll remind him.
Go
about
kick
that.
some old man ass.
Yeah, I'll remind him. I have a new spell that I could use on him.
Cool. So,
Shadow Blade. I'm a freaking.
That sounds extreme.
Wait, you have Shadow Blade?
I have Shadow Blade.
Oh my god.
Yeah, boy. I'm stoked about it. Too.
I love that spell. It's so ridiculous.
It's
Yeah,
awesome
dude.
for rogues too, because it counts for like finesse, sneak attack, and all that.
Well, what's
Yeah.
crazy is you can throw the Shadow Blade,
Yep.
and you can retreat, and you can like teleport it back to yourself. It's
As
like,
a bonus action.
As
Yep.
a bonus action. It's really dumb.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
pretty excited about it.
Right. So what is
Ephelien?
Ephelien? Yeah, what's she gonna do?
Are they done with the crystals by this point?
They are. I mean, you could probably go pick them up.
Yeah, then I guess I'll go. She would probably want to try to go into the camp undercover. So dress like a refugee, I guess.
Okay.
Even though she is a refugee, but
Well, we're not going to the
basically.
camp. Ephelien, I'll take you
we're
to
just going to talk to the Sentinels to save the journey.
Yeah,
Isn't that kind of where they're based, though?
it is.
I thought they were based on the edge of the Durin.
Well, kind of. I mean, they're more in the forested area now.
Because when I thought that.
Now,
I guess off the old map, it was like right here, where we crossed from here
I
to
thought
here.
I think we came through this pass in the mountains, though.
Yeah, you
Didn't we,
did.
like down here
Yeah,
and into the wooded area. And then
yeah.
Oh, I thought. Oh, I guess the wooded triangle used to be bigger, and that's why.
It did used to be bigger, or at least it wasn't as much on the coast.
this is more aesthetic. So.
It is like, not everything is quite to scale. Like, I couldn't get a perfect recreation here. So
I guess that's why I was thinking that.
now, Calanan and Ogren, their group is actually closer though. There is a camp that you guys could go to, and there would be sentinels there as well. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be far.
I think Cella wants to do that for sure. I don't think she minds a little bit of the travel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, all right. Well, Ephelien, if your crystals are ready, do you want to join?
Yeah, I'll go.
Well, let's go outside and see if Gogren's still out there. If so, he can surely direct us to where the camp is. You know they're going to be undercover, so it's not going to just be something we can walk upon. So, Braundir's going to lead them up and out of the mountain.
Okay.
And then, I guess, perception for Gogren.
Do that.
Or would it be investigation? Perception?
Let's say perception. Okay. So you kind of go into the surrounding woods at the foot of Durin. You're walking a little ways, and you do spot the cloaked figure that you think is Gogren that you saw earlier. It seems as though he is actually walking back deeper into the forest. When he stops and, like, do you signal him or?
No, I'm kind of walking behind him to see if it's him or not.
Okay.
I guess we are walking behind him, but I'm leading, I guess. And because I don't want to call out to somebody I don't know.
Sure. So,
is there any
I would've-
feature? Okay, I guess. So I don't know. I was wondering if he would like stop or pick up something, but if he doesn't, then I'm just going to call out his name. Just call it.
okay.
Gogren.
Gogren!
The person stops, looks, and says, Braundir.
I know you weren't expecting to see me again, but these you kind of met one of them earlier, Ephelien, and this is Cella. They're both interested in what you told me about the elemental temples and the disruption. If there's any more information you can give them, that'd be great. But also, we're interested. Cella is interested in seeing the refugees, finding out more about them. And rather than spending 3 days round trip going to the coast and back, we're hoping we could talk to some sentinels in your camp.
Of course. Not many in Novera know of, well, the conflict that is occurring at the moment that's displacing so many people.
Yes, I'm very interested to hear more about that, either from you or from the people who fled from it.
Well, we can't say we've brought very many refugees with us here to Durin, but we do have several sentinels who have worked amongst the camps. Could give you a better idea.
How
Oh,
far
you-
away are they?
Oh, they're not far. Really, just probably about half an hour's travel from here.
I guess we'll see you over there.
Well, I mean, I was just walking back.
Oh, I didn't know if you'd be waiting on Callanan or not.
This is one of
No,
those
no.
where you're like trying to leave, and you're like, okay, bye. And then you keep walking.
I guess we'll awkwardly walk in the same direction. I'm just gonna 10 feet over real quick and walk parallel to you instead. Yeah. Or stop and tie my shoe and check my cell phone for like
Right.
15 seconds. So you're not waiting on Callanan then?
No, he knows where the camp is.
Oh,
Not really much sense in waiting here. Besides, this spell I have right now, it's kind of uncomfortable. I'd rather not have to be like this.
I mean, Braundir hesitantly says, I know you have the spell for me. You can let it go.
Okay, good. He just snaps his fingers. And he was kind of a nondescript human with a deeper voice than you would expect. But the cloak comes off, and as it does, he slowly begins to grow in size a few feet. His skin blackens, and you see, Braundir, these old scars and tears that seem to define Gogren's body. And then you see the familiar orc with green eyes, blackened skin, with charred or blackened, scarred parts of his body standing before you.
So,
I've never liked Alter Self. It's very constricting.
Braundir kind of keeps his eyes lowered, just keeping his eyes set in front of him, rather like on the path in front of him, instead of looking at him in the eyes anymore.
I'm sorry it
Just
makes you uncomfortable, I
can
know,
only
but
imagine. There's nothing you can do about it. I appreciate your help.
what does Cella do?
I was just rolling insight to see if she could have already told that he was enchanted or like using the form. So I think with that roll, like she's very taken aback,
Yeah.
or at least maybe she suspects something's not quite there, but she didn't expect that he was like
Right. Yeah, this is probably the first orc you've ever seen.
Yeah, I think that the teeth are sharp under the closed mouth, but I think she kind of holds her composure and just kind of stays silent. I think she's very wary of him. She knows what he is, but she doesn't know if she trusts orcs or not. She's never met
Ogren looks at Cella and Ephelien and just says, well, I couldn't really maintain that form for very long anyway, but I hope it doesn't disturb you. I am an orc.
It's not the orc part that raises my suspicion.
You're talking about these. He's kind of pointing at the markings on him and his green eyes. Yes, I'd be very suspicious as well if I were you, but rest assured, I have tried my damnedest to stay away from that corruptive magic for as long as I can.
Braundir speaks up. Still looking down and walking to Gogren saved my life, along with Callanan. And though, if it says anything, he saved my life against his own race. for that reason, I have nothing but respect for this man. I can't judge a man for his past sins.
Well, I suppose I, of all people, should not be one to be deterred by extreme appearances. So, please put yourself at ease and be comfortable.
Does
Not at all.
Ephelien want to make any checks?
I want to look and see if he has any kind of implements for casting divine magic, I guess. Obviously,
Okay.
necromancy or any kind of divine magic.
Okay.
I don't know if that's perception or investigation or what.
Let's say investigation. I think that works. So, looking him over, you do see a wand, but there's nothing that he uses that seems to indicate, like, it just seems like a typical wand. There's nothing
So,
to
like,
indicate that it's
arcane?
using. Yeah, arcane.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to understand, Kalnan and I were, well, at this point you guys are walking and talking. Let's say that. Let's say you guys are walking and talking. He says, Kalnan and I were, well, we're former slaves. I was taken from my tribe when I was young by slavers from across the sea. They discovered we had magical aptitude, and, well, he and I were bought by the same noble, and we were more or less his entertainment.
That's terrible.
Well, it's the same kind of story you'll see all throughout the camps. The Devosi are vicious creatures.
Are they just a naturally stronger, physically superior kind of race? How is it that they oppress so many of you so easily?
They are dragon people, created from the last of the dragon lords ages ago. That dragon blood gives them all latent magical power. As much as I hate to say it, they probably are superior to most races.
I've read that they're not servants of Pelora or Malcor. Is that true?
Yes. They tend to not worship much, except for, well, their creator, Dervos.
The dragon?
The last of the Dragon Lords, or so I've heard.
Is Dervos still around?
No. He is long since gone.
So, dragons are gone then.
Yes.
That's good to hear, at least.
Well, in their place, I assure you, the Dervosi have more than made up for it.
The Devosi have been enslaving other races for hundreds or thousands of years. Why are there so many people fleeing now? What's changed?
There seems to be an internal conflict occurring within the Dervosi themselves.
A civil war?
A civil war, yes. It seems the Emperor died, and now his sons are fighting for power. In the conflict and battle, well, some slaves have opted to escape across the sea, where they can.
Do you think any of them could be convinced to fight the real enemy instead of fighting over petty squabbles?
He kind of looks a little shocked at Ephelien at the suggestion. He says, I would personally probably die before I wanted to work with any one of them. But perhaps some are more pragmatic than others.
You're talking about the Dragonborn, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I know any pragmatic Dragonborn.
Sometimes you have to make strange
Eladrin?
allies when you're facing extinction.
Well, you would have to convince them of that first.
Do they believe in Pelora and Malcor? Even if they don't worship them, do they acknowledge them as a power? Surely they do with the revolts that happened to, well, create all of Milan.
Oh, most certainly. They hate Pelora, obviously. They've stamped out any mention or word of her. Any sects that are caught worshipping her are, well, they suffer the penalty of death.
But what about Malcor? What's one without the other?
They do not seem to have much of a relationship with Malcor. I do not know if many of them worship him. Perhaps some do. There always seems to be some in every culture. But I have also heard of slaves using Malcor as a means of beginning rebellions.
Well, I guess that's the person to do it.
Well, either one of them, if you think about it.
Braundir converts to a missionary of
Yes, gets his third subclass as a paladin. As a cleric.
Nice. There you go. So by
Um,
this point, you guys have arrived at their camp. When you come up to it, it just looks like a blank clear, like just a clearing with some rocks in the middle and an old fire that seemed to have been put out, and there's just nothing but a like trail of smoke coming from it. And and Gogrin looks at it. He says, "It's all right. You can come out now." That's when the rocks move, and they turn, and that's when the sentinels, at least 4 or 5 of them, revealed themselves to be just some of them are dwarves, some of them are humans. All of them wear green cloaks, but it seems they had found a way to disguise themselves as rocks, and now they've revealed themselves.
I'm trying to find my notes on the sentinels.
Yeah.
Do I see Eric or Eruk, the leader of sentinels?
You do. He has his hawk with him.
Is it Eruk or Eric?
Eruk, I think.
Okay. I walk directly toward Eruk and offer a handshake. So it's good to see you.
Yeah, he gives you a big hearty handshake in return with a smile and says, "It's good to see you again. I heard about what you did. You're crazy, you know that?"
That's what they tell me, but blind with rage has never had a stronger meaning than it did at that moment.
You tackled Varghast. Oh, man. Whew.
Well, enough about me. So what's the story? More refugees than can handle? Is there any word from across the sea?
Well, as far as we know, it's kind of muddled, but it sounds as if one of the heirs or whatever, is starting to consolidate. And in response, he's burning cities.
Consolidate with, like, several heirs are consolidating together?
Well, when I say consolidate, I mean it's territory.
Oh, he's trying to gain more territory from the other heirs.
Right, yeah. Apparently he's got some general on his side, real famous guy. I don't know. Some of the slaves really seem to talk highly of him, which is bizarre to me. But anyway,
What's the general's name?
I don't know what his name is, but they call him the Ghost. It's kind of weird.
Uh,
He's loved by the slaves.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. From what I've heard, some of the slaves would die for him. His own personal slaves.
I don't know who the ghost is.
Right.
Mm.
All I know is he's a white scaled dragonborn. But basically, it sounds like a lot of slaves like him because, well, he probably treats them better than most.
Sad.
That's not saying much.
No, when you've seen the cases I've seen, it's awful.
Well, I hate that this is happening, but I'm thankful to know that you're there to help.
Well, we're doing what we can. It's just this. I mean, I think we may have a couple of thousand now. That town of Pisana can't handle that much. We don't have enough resources. We gotta go to Polan at this point. I know there's a larger refugee camp that they got outside Adrianople. We just gotta make our presence known with the Queen and gain entry.
Is there anything that we can do to help that happen?
Well, I mean, if you're going back to Adrianople, you know, it wouldn't hurt to have a good word put in.
I don't think we are, but we do know somebody who is.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Do you remember? Oh, no, I forgot his name.
Teo?
David's old character, Teo.
Teo.
He was with us last time we were around here.
Oh yeah, the cleric, right?
Yeah, yes. He's a follower of Polan and very wise and respected in his ranks. So maybe we can send word to him and at least give them a heads up, and maybe he can prepare a way.
Hey, that'd be great. Anything to help would be nice.
Absolutely.
I'm just hoping that Callanan, when he's done talking to the Dwarven Council, he gets some kind of aid out of them. It would be nice. I mean, it's going to take probably about a week's worth of travel or more. Oh, I'm probably underestimating it, given how many people we got to move.
I hate to say this, but I don't know that Callanan's going to get a penny out of them, or a gold piece, or a silver bronze piece, because Sun Eater, or excuse me, Beastbane, is dead set on increasing all militia efforts. Now, if you're marching into the the Badlands, you probably could get a party to go with you, but I can't say that. From my knowledge, it doesn't look good for any form of effort that's not military related.
Well, that's bad news.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know what else I can do. We're going back later today. Maybe I can stir something up. No promises.
Hey, you do what you can.
So you'll be escorting them then, right?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna try and do.
Well, at least they'll have you.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to steer clear of the redwoods. But it should be a fairly safe route, hopefully. I mean, there have been... Huh?
Do you think the redwoods are still haunted or cursed, or have anything wrong with them now that Barghast has been defeated?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to go there. I wouldn't want to test it. Probably want to give it a little more time, you know? It's only been a few days.
True.
Well, a week now.
A week. Yeah, well, I don't think evil like that. I don't think it's going to dissipate in a week.
Yeah.
I mean, the Horde's mostly done. Like, the undead are mostly wiped out, mainly because of that giant explosion or whatever. But, I mean, there are probably still a lot of them around, so I wouldn't want to mess with that if I could help it.
Is Elizabeth still in Durin?
Yeah, as far as you know.
Uruk, I think I have a solution to your problem.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? Yes. Last we were here, we met a girl, and two other of her soldiers. One was a big, bulky dwarf.
Oh
and
yeah.
handsome.
That guy
Alvin
was huge.
and Elizabeth. Elizabeth is, I mean, she's as much of Pelon as I could ever, Pelora as I could ever imagine, and she may be interested in helping you not only have safe travels, but find refuge outside of Pelon.
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, I can't say I really. I mean, I know the big guy for sure. Hard to miss him.
Yeah,
But yeah.
he probably had a gnome on his back at the time.
Elizabeth is probably a half step away from being a saint in the church by this point for all that she's accomplished.
Well, if they
She would
think
be
she's some
valuable.
kind of prophet, just have her tell them that she saw it in her dreams or whatever that they have to help the refugees. They'll believe it.
This could work. I'll send word to you. If Caladan is still there when we get back, I may have him wait and he can lead the party. I'm not sure the health of Elizabeth. It's only been 2 or 3 days since Malcor first arrived, and she took a toll. So
Yeah, when Vargast.
Vargast, yeah, excuse me.
Right. Yeah, you gotta.
Lots
Very
of
important.
gods, yeah, and things.
Right.
So we'll send word. I'm glad to know that she was unsure of her next step, and maybe this can help lead her in that direction.
Hey, if we can get a saint to help us, all the better.
Yeah.
It's Gogrin. This whole time, Gogrin's been kind of listening, and he's got a bit of a smirk on his face, and he's like, "I kind of figured you'd have some kind of ideas that would help us out."
Well, yeah. I'm just glad that we could be of some use. So it's the least I can do.
Right.
Cella, Ephelien, do you have anything else around here that you'd like to see, do, investigate before we head back?
Oh yeah, one thing I want to mention is that they do have what are they called? Those dogs.
Mastiff.
Yes. So there's some Mastiff dogs that are like kind of laid out. Some of them are asleep, and other ones just kind of watching you guys. And there's a couple of horses that are tied up, hitched up near some trees.
I think my curiosity is satisfied. Thank you for telling us what you know. The world is ever more fascinating to me outside of my home. And who knows what will come of the conflict? We may find ourselves, well, you all may find yourselves intertwined further at some point with what's happening in the other continent.
Well, I mean, I don't know what would be worse. The Devosi Empire in a civil war, or the Devosi Empire united?
I'll go for the one where both parties lose, whichever the way that works.
Yeah, well, we'll see, I guess.
Well,
I want to ask around the Sentinels and ask for some, look for fletching supplies to
Okay.
craft more arrows.
Yeah, there's some of them that've got some extra fletching supplies.
I just gotta replenish your arrows.
Sure. Very practical. And there's nothing else you guys want to do?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, you guys, I suppose, would return to Durin.
Yeah.
It's been a couple hours. Oh yeah, and Mark, whoever is controlling the crystals, Mark, you have 3 mana crystals in your inventory.
Okay. So how are they going to work? You kind of
Okay.
described them like spell batteries, but I'm assuming there's probably going to be like a level cap of the spell.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a level cap. Probably nothing higher than second level,
That makes sense.
because third level's where fireball is, and I don't want that. I don't
Mhm.
want you guys to be able to just
Yeah.
store fireballs.
6 fireballs.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Fireball, 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 fireball. Everyone's dead.
I don't think any of us can fireball, but we
Yeah,
can do other stuff.
right.
That you know about.
The
Maybe
amulet, however, can store up
Gerbo.
enough. The amulet that Braundir has can store up enough to cast a fireball eventually.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's pretty nice.
But I have to collect fire from it, right? I have to,
yeah, you got to fight stuff with fire.
Yeah, fight fire with fire.
What you say?
So you guys go back to Durin.
How long has how much time has elapsed?
So, I'm gonna say since this morning, you guys encountering Calanan, and then going out and talking to Ogren in the camp, I would say now it's close to lunchtime. It's been like 4 hours. Oh yeah, and also going and getting the crystals and doing all that too. So yeah, it's probably about lunchtime. I assume you guys may go to like a pub or something like that, maybe get lunch.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Girls gotta
Um,
eat.
Gerbo is just reading somewhere.
I was at the library and
That's right.
was going to study for a while, and so I studied for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I think I've kind of reached the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like I'm good for now.
Yeah.
You know, got a solid like 12 hours in last like
You've gotten to the more interesting part of the book that deals with breathing exercises.
yes, sweet meditation.
That's right.
Got to get that con score
You,
up.
you, oddly enough, don't really encounter anyone else in the library at the moment. Not even Gregor.
Okay, well, as I noticed that, I like put my arms out when I go down the aisle, and
Uh-huh.
I like curve them. I curve them like this, and like I pull a ton of books
Just pull them out.
yeah, like off of the shelves, like boom, 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 boom on either side, and like I'm stepping over them, like as I'm walking. It's just like creating chaos.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like what I do.
Wow, you essentially bullied an old man. Good job.
Listen, y'all, we're never coming back to this place. And
Gerbo's turned into such a punk.
You don't know that.
He's vandalizing things.
I would
They
not
don't-
say never, but
they
okay.
don't have security cameras here.
Gerbo's a little petty little vandal.
Okay.
Listen, that dude can pick them all up with magic or something. Like, we all know he's not going to by hand pick up all those books.
Oh no, not again.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I hear in the distance, like over a loudspeaker.
Okay.
And then I make my way
Yeah.
outside.
And I assume you will see them coming back.
Cool. That sounds good. Where are we at? Are we like in the courtyard or something?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going outside, you'd be on the outside of Durin, kind of outside the mountain.
Oh, okay, that's where the library opens up to.
Well, no. Like you said, you wanted to go outside.
Oh, I meant out of the library. into-
Oh, okay. Well, then that would just you would be in Durin proper then. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I'll wait for them there, and then
Like in the square, or
Yeah.
All right,
exactly.
all right. Near your Beastbane sucks, which by this point
Yeah.
is starting to get wiped away by some of the guards.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna come up to the guards and I'm gonna say, "Did you see the guy who painted that? See the gnome who painted that?"
One of them just looks it down at you and scowls and says, "Yeah, if we ever find him, we'll string him up." They just go back to wiping down.
Good stuff. I'm gonna walk away. Just like genuinely satisfied. That's what I got. And then I'm gonna head to the bar because I'm hungry and I need some of those sweet peanuts.
All right. Those sweet dwarven peanuts.
Yeah, I need them dwarf nuts.
Ski.
Wow. All right.
Low-hanging fruit. This is the segment of the game where everybody is quarantined in Durin. We have nowhere to go and nothing to do. So we've been drinking like repeatedly, going back to the bar because we have nothing better to do.
Yeah,
It's always sunny in Durin. It's always sunny in Durin.
Yeah.
So, Cella, as you are returning back to the mountain, a bird flies right to you, onto your shoulder.
Okay.
It is a crow, or a raven, I should say.
I already have an arrow aimed at it before it even lands.
Fair enough. And on one of the legs is a small note that is wrapped around it.
I like reach into one of the many pouches at my waist and like get a little nibble of bird seed and give it to the raven and take the note off the leg.
The raven gladly eats the seed you've provided.
I open the note. I read the note.
Okay.
Expecting it to be from my aunt.
The note says, when night falls, come to a small cave on the outskirts of Durin. So it's like gonna be kind of along the forest line. Look for, and it says simply look for the black mushrooms.
Which is like something that has been used before and is like a very familiar sign.
Right. It's
Yeah.
which indicates to you that this is an in-person visit.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Cella feels a pang of anxiety in her stomach and like crumples the paper in her hands, and it kind of just feathers and disintegrates into a cloud of spores.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I guess I have a date. I guess I have something to do other than sit inside. Nice.
Ephelien, what are you doing?
I'm going to talk to this bird.
Okay. What do you want to
Like
say?
I do every day in the other campaign.
Yeah.
First, I'm going to apologize for aiming my bow at it. And then I'm going to ask it if there's any boars in this area.
Boars?
Big
Yes.
fat pigs.
Big pigs.
They're
Yes.
scary.
Scary big pigs. Yes.
And I'll ask what area.
And it's gonna point its beak kind of towards from the Durin entrance. It's gonna point kind of southwesterly direction, or southeasterly direction.
Okay, I'll just say I'll be back later, and then just go that way. Walk off.
Cella takes the raven off her shoulder and throws it up in the air and turns back to Braundir and says, "Do you think you can manage the rest of this alone?"
I don't see why not.
I've been feeling a little different lately. I don't know if I've gotten stronger from all of our adventures down in the cave, so what it might be, but I think it's time for me to stretch my wings a bit.
Well, I wish you the best. I hope you know how to reach us.
Don't worry, I'll find you. And
I'll trust that you do.
Yeah, she takes a couple steps away, and like for the first time in her life, not really fully like knowing what she's doing, turns slowly morphs into a new wild shape.
Oh
And,
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
yeah, and
Is the image going to come through?
I don't think so. I don't think I can send it.
You can look it up on D&D Beyond.
What do you? Oh, the wild shape.
It's not that dramatic,
What's the wild shape?
but she takes the form of a giant eagle.
Nice.
Time keeps on the best. Into the future.
Is it black?
Yes, if that can be a thing, Cella's all black everything at all times.
It can be a thing. It will be a thing.
I feel like the
Yes.
beast form has to reflect the person.
I agree as well.
All black,
I think,
everything.
I think black, except like her flight wings are still white.
Mm.
Are still white and shiny. And she takes off into the sky, and it's super fun. The end.
Right.
Flies away like Mario.
You get a great view of the enormous mountains of Durin at their full height as you're flying higher and higher into the air.
It's really cool. Yeah. Is there anything interesting? Anything unusual?
Well,
I think I'm just flying around for fun, but if I happen to see
as you keep going higher, a couple things stick out to you. So to your south, you see the crater in the redwoods.
Mm.
It's quite visible, quite blackened. To your north, you actually see what looks to be an enormous dust storm that is blowing across the Badlands and the dunes.
Would that strike me as unusual or unusually large, or would I guess I might never have seen that before at all.
You haven't ventured into the Badlands, so you don't know what's normal.
Yeah.
And as you're climbing up, you actually see in some of the mountain peaks some Arakoa.
Oh,
That is to say, bird people.
nice.
Some of them are flying in the air. And one of them even kind of gestures to you as it flies past.
I think Cella like double takes and like just kidding. And she wings back around and tries to kind of approach from the side.
Okay. Like, are you trying to land or follow the one that's in the air?
I think I'm following the one that nodded at me.
All right, so that one is actually going further up, and he seems to be going pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't know how good I am at flying yet. Is this like an athletics check?
Sure. Let's call it that.
Don't fail it.
My athletics isn't very good.
Don't fail it.
Probably gonna be bad.
Well, I know giant eagles are insanely fast.
Wait, what, Brett?
Giant eagles are insanely fast, so
Okay.
You think I can
they're like a
take
fighter
him?
jet.
Well, you're pretty like you're this is your first time flying, so you're fast, but you're also extremely clumsy with like the airwaves or air pockets and stuff. So it's a very turbulent like ascent for you. Whereas he's kind of just darting through the air and flying almost effortlessly through the sky.
Can I call out with a majestic eagle screech?
You can.
Totally do that.
I'm not doing that. Gareth, you want to provide the sound dubbing for that?
I can find an eagle screech online.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure.
Can't do it.
Beautiful.
I think about the eagle screech or the hawk screech on oh gosh, the Rescuers Down Under.
Yeah.
Gosh, what a traumatizing moment that movie.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Chills.
Nightmare.
There it is.
Oh man.
Fully provided by YouTube.
Thank you.
Basically, it looks as if this Arakoa is just flying around almost as like an exercise for
Okay.
itself.
Hmm.
And it almost looks like it's kind of looking back every so often to see if you're still following.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
So,
All right. I'm gonna leave him be. I'm gonna wing back around towards Durin.
okay.
And I think there's one last thing. Oh, I don't have access to my spells when I'm in my wild shape, so never mind. I think I'll just kind of go land on an outcropping with a good view, and
Yeah.
survey it and wait for nightfall.
So, a bit of lore that we've come up with for the other campaign is that Arakoa live in the mountaintops of Durin, and they're very in tune with nature, much like a druid would be or a shaman, and they've helped the dwarves in the past defend their homeland in the Orc Wars.
That's interesting. Are there any that are close by that look friendly, that look approachable?
Many of them are kind of in these higher up caves. Some of them are out, and some appear to be, you assume, meditating. They're in a stance.
Yeah, I don't think I have a good grasp on bird etiquette, but
It's always something you need to catch up on.
yeah, Gerbo will have to teach me about
Yeah, I got you.
the bird nobility etiquette.
I know bird etiquette.
But I think she's curious. Would she know that they're attuned to nature? Would she be aware of that?
You could roll.
Nature?
Yeah, let's say that.
Hey. Okay.
You've vaguely heard of bird people, but you don't really know that much about them.
Okay. All right.
Vaguely, but no.
You've vaguely heard of the Arakoa.
I think she's gonna try to approach one then. Very haphazardly fly straight up to the one that's closest to her.
Okay. So you land and you end up trying to land too fast, and so you kind of skid across the mountain top a little bit.
Love it. Maybe it startles her and she kind of like tumbles out of wild shape back into human shape as she's like skidding.
One of the Arakoa that's sitting beside you just kind of looks and stares at you.
Hello. I'm very sorry. Actually, don't really know if you can still understand me, but was just wondering if you had a minute to talk.
Yes.
Oh, good. That's going to make things much simpler. I'm Cella. I am a druid. I'm a friend of all beings and of your people.
Good.
What is your name? Short-spoken, feathered friend.
I kind of think of them as like Native American themed.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to go for. But let me get a name. Kirill.
Kirill?
Kirill.
Kirill. It's very nice to meet you, Kirill. I've never spoken with an Aarakocra before. You'll have to forgive any sort of cultural missteps on my part. I've only been a bird for about an hour of my life, so not really an expert. But
Yes. It is your first time flying, yes?
was it that obvious?
Yes.
Do many fare much better on their first attempt?
Do what?
Do many fare any better than I did on their first attempt at flying?
Some have died.
Well, then I guess we'll call it a success. I'm fascinated. I don't know that I realised many of you live here around Durin. Are there Aracocra
Yes.
elsewhere in Ephelien?
There are few of us left these days.
Hmm.
There are few of us now that live in these mountains. That way, he points towards the Badlands and says, some of our corrupted brethren live there.
Hmm. Well, I know what it's like to be among a shrinking population, so I understand that that's hard, and I'm sorry. Tell me, are you, with your bird's eye view up here and being able to travel so far and wide, do you have any knowledge of, well, elemental forces in this world?
We typically worship. Was it the Phoenix, Brett? Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, I call it the Great Spirit, or the Phoenix.
Oh.
We worship the Great Spirit. And we follow the winds.
Winds, yes. That makes perfect sense. A matter of life and death for you. Is there somewhere, well, have you noticed anything amiss with the winds or the air or the currents lately?
Yes.
Tell me more.
That way. And he points to the Badlands. More storms come from there.
I see.
Certain currents, streams of the wind, twisting in them on themselves. Unnatural.
That's unfortunate for
Only our kind has noticed this for now.
Well, thank you for telling me. Is there somewhere in this world, perhaps north, where the forces, the Great Phoenix originates from? A place that is sacred for you, almost sacred for your people, for your religion?
South. He points back towards like the redwoods and Palan, in that direction. Not at the redwoods, but
Right.
in that direction.
Have you ever been there?
Rarely we make pilgrimages to the holy site.
You see. And is its location sacred or secret to you?
It is not meant for outsiders.
I see. What about outsiders who can turn into birds?
It is not meant for outsiders.
Who did you say that? Regardless, it's been very nice talking with somebody like you. It's been very interesting. Never met anyone quite like you before, and what you told me is very helpful. I hope perhaps I could return, and maybe you could show me a thing or two about flying, so that next time I can, well, say a bird.
You were flying with Alik
And she
earlier.
up to the other bird that was outpacing her.
Yeah, the Aracocra that was flying out the air.
Mm-hmm.
He is young.
He's
seems
fast.
very fast. Perhaps we can teach you in time.
We'd be most interested in that. You can tell I have a lot to learn. But unfortunately, tonight I'm needed elsewhere. I will try to come back and speak with you again soon.
May the Great Spirit guide you.
And you. And she kind of clumsily goes back over to the ledge that she landed on and
Yeah.
looks down and realizes how freaking high she
Yeah,
is.
it's like-
on a cliff.
It's insanely high, yeah.
She's like, well, I guess there's no way around it now. Can't get down this cliff in panther shape. And whips back into evil shape and flies away.
Okay.
Thank you for that. That was fun. So,
Well, I mean, I just realized, well, wait. There was some lore we had. And I have to keep continuity, so.
Yeah.
yeah, that's really cool. Had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it, but that's
That's
for
Amazing.
that's for Brett's character Zeke in the Badlands campaign.
I'm that guy that wanted to play a weird race, so he had to fit it in.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Can I play Birdman?
Birdman.
To be fair, he's a really cool Birdman and it's super powerful.
So,
Yeah.
It fits pretty
that
well since there's
conversation-
mounts there.
Huh?
so I guess that conversation took place just before the other campaign got to him.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so it actually happened just like in your timeline. It happened today. It started today
Cool.
Oh.
because as far as the Badlands campaign is concerned, Zeke, along with their tribal elder or leader, basically offered to send Zeke with the scouting party that Cathris and Beastbane organized.
Nice.
Okay.
That's cool.
So Zeke
Brett
is helping to
pulls up
find
his Zeke
Eladrin's friend.
character.
What?
You said Brett pulls up his Zeke character and plays 2 characters in this campaign.
The crossover.
Yeah.
Fred is our link.
It's a crossover episode.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. So the Wind Temple's somewhere in the south beyond the Redwoods.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
All right. What
I
are the
like
rest
it.
of you fools doing?
I'm hunting boar.
Sure.
Good old
'Cause-
country boy.
Yeah, give me that bacon. I need that bacon.
What-
She
What
was
are you
too
gonna roll
claustrophobic
for
underground.
hunting?
Survival, I guess.
I guess it'd be survival, yeah.
She was too
Roll it.
claustrophobic.
Roll it,
She's
roll it.
what?
She was too claustrophobic. in the
Sure.
underground mountains.
Yeah.
Roll that survival.
Your hunting's as bad as my flying.
That's about right. So
I'm surviving well.
you managed to trap a boar and shoot at it, but you didn't get a kill shot, and it ran away. You could still pursue it though from the bloodstains in the grass.
I do have
Every good hunter does that.
I do
don't
have
lead-
advantage
lead-
on that.
What?
I have advantage on tracking, so
Oh, you do?
let's do it.
Sure.
Track it.
Oh, yeah, you
A lot
definitely
better.
track it. Yeah, you track it and find it pretty quickly.
That's right. You
Nice.
suck at killing it, but you can definitely track it.
It's definitely wounded. You think you could either basically wait for it to get weaker and then attack it, or you could try and attack it now.
I'm just gonna shoot it with force arrows.
That'll do.
Kill it with Shadow Blade.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna shoot it, and then I have a negative strength, so I guess I have to summon my bear to carry it back for me.
Sure. Why not?
Honestly, worth it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a boar is big. That's a lot of meat for a long time.
She's thinking ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, you summon your bear. You
Then I just clean it on the front steps of Durin.
okay. You just got this giant boar and you're just skinning it and cleaning it.
I mean, at least she has enough tact not to bring it inside before she does it. So
Fair enough. That would be pretty funny though. She just like this polar bear dragging along this boar corpse into the town square.
I'm sure some guards outside to see it though.
Yeah, actually, there's some guards actually that are posted, and Like, whoa, it's a big boar. Where'd you get that?
Down south. You got some big boars up here.
Yeah, I can't say I've really been boar hunting that much, man. Good kill.
I'll give that guy one of the tusks.
Sweet. He's excited, like genuinely excited when you get into him. He's like, oh, dude, look. And he kind of points to like the other guard. He's like, look what I got. I wonder if I could drink out of this. Because it's like a hollowed out tusk, right?
Oh, I don't know. Would it be hollowed out or just solid bone? You probably
I
have to
think it'd be
hollow it
solid bone for the like a boar tusk.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to get like something to hollow it out with.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
So that's what
Gerbo's
Ephelien
at the
did.
bar. Gerbo's still at the bar.
Okay.
Just at the bar.
Not causing trouble at the bar? Sorry.
Oh.
Our cat's screaming. All right, come here.
Oh, he's got a
He's
feather.
bringing us toys and like crying at
Oh
us.
my god, that
You
was
want
cute.
Kitty.
I'll be right back.
That was really cute. Well, I went inside and I was gonna wait on Braundir.
Yeah.
Did he?
Braundir's, you want me to go?
You don't have to. You can do your
like
own thing.
me,
You
I
do whatever you want to do.
Like it's basically lunchtime, so
Well, Braundir's going to go down to Elizabeth.
okay.
Perfect.
So in Elizabeth's room, she's still like she looks a lot better than she did when you last saw her. She's no longer, just coming off of an awful nightmare, everything else. It looks like Alvin and Amelia are in the room, and it looks as if Alvin and Amelia are playing cards.
Staying out of trouble, I see.
Oh, hey, Braundir. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. How are you doing, Elizabeth?
Well, far better. I have to say, with some rest and food in me, it makes a world of difference.
And what of the night terrors, if you want to call it that?
Oh, the dreams?
Yeah.
Well, they seem to have receded for now.
How are you feeling physically?
Well, I think probably by tomorrow I might be able to travel.
Have you
Seems-
done any more thought about going back to Palan?
Well, I still have my reservations about all of that, but talking it through with Alvin and Father Ignis, it's clear that, Flora chose me for whatever reason.
Braundir takes a seat beside her bed and says, I'm very glad to hear that. But not just for my sake, but there's a troop of immigrants who could use your help.
Are you talking about the people in Persona?
Yeah, you remember them.
Yes, I do.
Well, there's more immigrants coming over by the day, or refugees coming over by the day, and they're going to have to move south to Palan, but they're afraid of the long travel. We haven't heard word yet on if the dwarven council will give them any funding, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that. That's another story. But I was hoping that maybe you would find it in your grace to escort them.
Well, certainly, I could talk with Father Ignis about that. And I'm sure Alvin and Amelia would have no problem with that.
Well, I know that it would mean a lot, not only to me, but to these refugees. They have no place to go, and Flora has definitely set her sights on you, and I think that this would be in her will. Not to speak for her, of course, but I
Well,
can't
I
imagine
mean-
a better way to use your powers.
Well, I mean, how else did Palon get its start except for we were runaway slaves ourselves, not I mean, long ago, so
So, will you be the ordained person that you are and put in a good word for these refugees and escort them down?
so at this point Father Ignis walks into the room. He says,
Braundir.
huh?
Said Braundir looks up.
He said, Father Ignis looks, kind of scans the room and looks at you, Braundir, and says, "Ah, yes, it's good to see you again."
Father Ignis, I was just speaking to Elizabeth about something.
Is that right?
Uh,
And Elizabeth will say, "Yes, yes. He was just telling me about the refugees in Pisana."
you see, Father, if you haven't heard, there's even more uproar over east from here than in the past, and refugees are coming in by the day. They can't be held in the same location, and going south to Balan is the only way to keep them safe, give them structure, but no one's there to give them any additional support. I was telling Elizabeth we were waiting on word from the Dwarven Council for funding, but knowing Beastbane, I'm not going to hold my breath. So rather than being passive, I'd rather be assertive and see if you would escort these refugees down.
Now you realize, Elizabeth, that traveling with so many people could be, well, a risk to you. What do you mean? The Sentinels are there? Yes. But remember your position, who you are. You have to take certain precautions. Now that being said, Braundir, I do believe it would be in our best interest to see that these refugees are taken care of.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that.
Yes. This will help us as we go southward. Though, like I said, I do believe I would like to keep Elizabeth as well protected as possible. And away from as many people as possible. If you can understand, of course.
Well, with that being said, maybe we can get an escort from, like, small escort in addition to the Sentinels. With the Durin has to be nothing but grateful for Palan and Pelora for extraditing that evil curse that came into our mountain. Surely that's at least the sign of the respect that they could do. Is something I could look into.
I could speak with the council, I can speak with the council on that matter.
Then please do, yes.
And aside from that, Elizabeth has very important work ahead of her in Palan.
What work do you speak of?
It is clear that she is a sign from Pelora. It is time for us to cleanse ourselves.
What do you mean by cleanse?
I'm saying get rid of bad actors. The church for too long has been too bloated and corrupt.
The last time Pelora got rid of bad actors, an entire city was demolished.
I am aware of the incident in Northwich.
And you're ready to bring that into the capital.
I am not talking about fire and brimstone. I'm simply... I believe it is time for a revival.
I don't know to what extent. that needs to happen, but I'll leave that with you, Father. My main priority is to keep Elizabeth safe, to keep these refugees safe travels, and I have a path on my own I'd like to travel, but other than that, I'll leave it up to you.
You're welcome to join us, Braundir.
I do appreciate that. Palan is not the place for me at this moment, but perhaps we'll cross paths again.
Indeed.
Braundir looks to Elizabeth, says, "We'll be leaving in the morning. Know that I'll do everything in my power to keep you safe. And please send message to Durin, to Daz. Send message to Daz when you make it safe. He'll know how to reach me."
Certainly. Alvin and Emilio have been playing cards, and obviously they acknowledged you when you came in, and they're trying to finish up the game. And Emilio is trying to say that he won, but Alvin is saying no, that's not how it works. You didn't win. Here's why. And now Emilio's getting a little upset. So Alvin's trying to calm him down. But that's
yeah. Is there any money on the table?
no.
Okay.
No, they're just playing.
So I go in and say, "Boys, it's been an honor traveling with you, fighting beside you, and the memories we've had, we cherished. But I'm leaving in the morning, and I see to it that you'll take good care of this girl here."
Alvin says, "I would defend her with my life."
I know that.
Emilio just nods his head. Yeah.
Braundir offers a hug to each of them, a big man hug.
Alvin comes in first, but then Emilio comes in and hugs both of you.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
he's actually starting to cry a little now as he kind of holds you guys in his big burly arms.
Cool. Braundir nods to Father and then looks to Elizabeth and winks and says, "Cowabunga." I don't know. I was trying to think of another one, but I forgot what I said last time.
Cowabunga.
Dang. I had the thing I said last time.
A thing you said?
This time. Yeah. I forget what it was.
What kind of eldritch incantation is that?
You speak.
You'll find out soon enough. It's a cantrip to eat as many pizzas as you like. Okay.
All right.
Retcon something sweet in there, and then and then Braundir walks out.
Okay. All right. Now, Gerbo's just hanging out at the pub, right? Oh no, you're I can't hear you.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted or something.
The cat turned the microphone off. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
Classic.
Okay, we're good.
I've been doing a lot of chilling, just like, can you hear me still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've been doing just hanging out, and my character was in the bar for a little bit, waiting on Braundir, but realized that he wasn't going to show up.
No.
So I'm leaving. I'm going to leave the bar, and I got some sweet sustenance. From here, I think really the best, probably, for what, this territory, the city is not really kind of my thing. And so it's not like...
It's not your style.
Yeah, and my character, it's just not... It doesn't vibe with what my character is trying to do. You know, like
It's not vibing with you.
not at all, which is fine. But I think like Braundir has like his like his people like that he has like the connections with in the city, and so he's kind of like the main cheese here. And so like I'm taking the time to like kind of like look around and like try to like get an understanding of like how people are like, working here, being a rogue and like trying to be sneaky and stuff, and like mischievous. So I'm just like doing a lot of like people watching.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be in the main. I'm gonna kind of position myself kind of like against a wall,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have like the book back open, and I'm just gonna be kind of like watching people, looking out for familiar faces, because I based on what they were saying, it seems like we were gonna make our way to a one of the elemental temples, and eventually, so I'm gonna kind of be on the lookout for them and seeing how like we can move on, like what's like the next step for my character.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like if we moved like where I would want to go, which I would obviously going into the forest would be my character's like preference.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think when it comes to like where, I'm pretty open. So I'm kind of just like weighing like like,
Yeah.
like where our next steps could lead us, and like trying to study up so that the next time we encounter Malcor, I am more prepared.
And then you see Ephelien walk past dragging a huge bundle that has blood leaking out of it. And it's a trail of blood across the ground.
That's amazing. I closed the book then, and I kind of like let you pass. Do you say anything to me?
No, she probably wouldn't even notice.
Yes.
Okay,
Just keeps going.
cool. I'm just gonna kind of like walk like behind, like kind of just like observing, like just like seeing what like where this is gonna go.
Okay. Where are you taking that? By the way,
Wherever my character was sleeping, I guess.
All right. Well, you're just taking it right back to your place.
Yeah,
Okay.
tavern room or whatever it is, hotel room.
I mean, like, you're staying in like a cheap tavern, and like
Yeah.
the barkeep, as you're going in, is kind of wide eyed. He's like, "Whoa, what'd you kill?"
A boar.
Boar.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm gonna cut 2 pork chops and tell him cook these, and you can have one of them. We'll see if it's any good.
Okay, sure. I could do that. All right. Yeah.
I'll be right back. And then I
Uh-huh.
drag it up the stairs and leaking a trail of blood.
You're
A
gonna have
little
to
bead
clean
of
that,
blood
you
up the
know.
stairs.
And I sit back down at the bar area where like she stopped, and I'm gonna say to the bartender that the other pork chop was for me.
I mean, it looked like there was plenty to go around. But okay, sure.
I did roll a persuasion there, so
18, yeah.
Yep.
Of course, Master Gnome. Here you go.
is it cooked or is it uncooked?
No, he's about to cook it.
Okay, good.
Let me
Wait,
get it
wait.
cooked up for you.
Okay, I need this real time.
Well,
Go into extensive detail
while
as this.
yeah, during Cella's meeting, there can be pork chops
Yeah.
cooking in the background.
Yeah,
There you
tell
go.
us how Gerbo likes his pork chops cooked.
Yeah, Gerbo needs his pork chop cooked with an internal temperature of 145 degrees.
Exactly. No more, no less.
No more, no less. That's perfect pork chop temp.
Take it out at 140. Put it over
Yep.
a
Let it rest.
stimulate.
Let it rest.
Yep, I need that. So I'm going to be watching I'm going to try to be like attentive to this situation.
Okay.
I feel like this is like, this is top importance. I haven't had a pork chop in a long time.
Yeah.
Fresh.
These are big size pork chops too.
These are pretty big.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. It's gonna take a little time to cook.
Can you roll like a survival to see how much of the pork chop you can actually eat? It's a tiny one.
Constitution, maybe.
Constitution, yeah.
If
Yeah.
the bartender leaves, right? He's like going back to the kitchen or something.
Yeah. He's going back to cook.
Turning around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put on the helm of telepathy,
Oh no. Okay.
and I'm going to cast detect thoughts
On who?
on the bartender.
Okay.
So you're just sitting in the bar in a helmet.
Yep. I'm sitting in the bar in a weird looking helmet that's got like a brain looking thing exposed.
A gnome in a helmet eating a pork chop.
No, the pork chop's not there yet.
But it will
Not
be.
yet. Not yet. So you detect
So
his surface level.
He has to make a DC save of 13.
It's a wisdom, right?
Yeah.
You get his surface thoughts automatically, and if you want to delve deeper, then he has to make a save.
Okay. So yeah, you actually are you can just detect his thoughts, period.
Uh-huh.
Except like if you want to delve even deeper into this poor barkeep's psyche.
Maybe I do. I don't know. We'll see.
So
His wife left him 15 years ago, and he gets half and half with the kids.
Dang.
he's a recovering alcoholic.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, he says his thoughts are centered around the pork chops, how big and good they look. And also he's kind of weirded out that weird girl who's been staying with him for the last few days has gone out and hunted this and just tracked blood all over the tavern. And someone's got to clean that up, but he's going to block that out of his mind, and he's setting to cooking.
Nice. Okay, cool.
It seems like a genuine barkeep guy.
What a nice dude.
He wishes he could have some hard liquor about now.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. With that, I'm going to cast Mage Hand, and I'm going to have it grab one of the mops and mop up the blood.
Nice.
Okay. You do that.
And so I'm going to do that while I'm sitting at the bar.
All right.
I take off the helmet, no doubt.
All right.
So
All right.
that's what I got.
So it takes him, I don't know how long it would take him to cook pork chops.
Good question. Probably 8 to 12 minutes.
Depends on how thick they are. Bone in or not.
Mm-hmm.
Stovetop or oven. Grill.
Probably something like a grill.
Okay. Bone in 1-inch pork chops on a grill. It would probably take you like 20 minutes.
Okay, that's probably
Yeah,
about how long it takes.
You got to
15
cliffhanger
to 20
these pork
minutes.
chops
What-
and
what-
cut
what-
away.
What, Brett?
You got to cliffhanger these pork chops and cut away.
That's right. It's time to cut away.
Yeah, do it because everyone's waiting on Twitch right now.
That's right. Waiting with suspense. I mean, Jared was watching one of our streams in real time, one of Brett's cousins.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
hilarious.
Hi, Jared. I haven't seen Jared in forever.
Yeah, it's been forever. He's up in Chicago right now.
What up, Jared?
But up in Chicago right now.
Amazing.
What up?
Guess let's cut away to, because I'm trying to think if anyone else needs to do anything. I don't think so. So I'm thinking I was going to jump to, let's see. I'm going to say a few hours pass. I don't know, Braundir, what you were doing, if anything.
No, just laying low, pretty much.
Okay. At the end of the day, you spot Callanan coming out of the council room, looking kind of haggard and tired.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna wait until he's not around other people, and then is he going out the door? Is he going for a drink, or what's he doing?
He's going to the pub.
Okay. I intercept him outside the pub. And Callanan,
Oh.
how did it go?
Oh. Well, I have to say it was very exhausting.
The look on your face alone tells a story.
Yes, well, needless to say is like getting blood from a stone.
Well, let me come in here and buy you a drink and go inside. Sit down at a table.
Yes.
So I have a request for you, but fill me in on what was said in the meeting.
Well, well, I was in there for probably about 3 hours. It seems as though when I brought up my requests, some of the council members are attentive and seemed to care. They wanted to provide some sort of aid, but, well, that Beastbane fellow, he didn't seem particularly interested.
Well, I could have guessed that, but go on.
I tried to. Eventually, I got to a point where I was just trying to bargain with them at some point, you know. Now, the only time Beastbane even perked up in the meeting is when he had an idea, and his idea was to train some of the refugees to become soldiers and send them into the Badlands.
Well, he has his uses, I suppose. Can't say I'm surprised.
I was horrified, and so was Cathris, by the suggestion.
Well, you can always rely on Mother to have a moral compass. What was the verdict on that?
Well, in the end, they will provide some aid that might last a few days. Beastbane was unwilling to provide some sort of armed escort. But it seems as though Cathris held some sway and was able to convince him. So we will have some protection.
Well, that is what I was hoping would happen. I've also spoken with Elizabeth, the daughter of Pelora.
Yes, of course.
She'll also be accompanying you on your journey. After I took myself and my two others out to meet Gregor and get an update on what was going on.
Gogrin.
Gogrin. And
There you go.
for an update for what was...
Oh. Zach, you've cut out.
Froze.
Oh no.
And
Oh, you're back.
You're back.
Okay, so you cut out.
Oh.
So I don't know
Cut
what
out
you
for a
said.
solid,
Yeah, now we can hear you.
10 seconds.
my bad. Well, it was obvious that more support was needed, and I thought of Elizabeth. And at the time, she was debating on whether to go back to Balan or not, but I do think it's best for her. And if anything, having this girl with you will be a ticket in to Balan, and having her on your side should give you no issue with setting up new camp, finding materials, or having any issue in passing through at all. But as you know, having a sensitive item like this, the risk of travel will be greater. But hopefully the reward will be worth it.
Well, I have to say, I know of this girl you spoke of. I, in some ways, pity her. My days of serving Pelora and her magic is, well, I hope it is behind me. I'll take whatever help we can. we can get. At this point, the refugees come first, and personal feelings aside, I have to see to their needs.
Well, that's all I ask of you. Not to change your beliefs, not to do anything that you don't feel is right, other than help these refugees. And I think that Elizabeth is the best chance that you're going to have at setting up camp, staying secure.
Agreed.
So it's set then. Alvin and Emilio, and I believe, I'm not sure if Father Ignis will follow as well, but they've all been informed, and I won't see you in the morning. We'll be leaving first thing, but I trust you'll take good care of them.
Yes, of course.
So
I suppose we will be traveling with them at first light.
well, I finished my drink, and is Gerbo and Ephelien in here?
Gerbo and Ephelien, I guess, are in another tavern.
Okay.
But Callanan just says, thank you for everything you've done.
Well, you know I'll never be able to repay my debts, but this is the least I can do. So I'm obviously very happy to do that.
I knew.
We're going to look into the elemental temples, and we'll keep you posted on how that goes. I believe that we're all on board and ready to go.
Yes. I wish you luck. Like I said, I wish we could dedicate resources to helping you, but it's spread too thin as it is.
Well, there's no need to worry about us. We'll find our way.
You're capable. And I have to say, I'm so very thankful that we found you all those years ago.
I'd like to say the same. I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be alive, really, but
You have made a positive impact on this world, whether you believe that or not. You have.
well, the words are encouraging, hard to understand, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Take care, Braundir.
And Braundir stands up, walks out.
Yep.
See.
See. Cut. Well,
Well,
now we're going to transition to Cella at night. Unless anyone has anything else.
no.
Oh, crap. Can't hear you.
Muted.
Muted or something.
Still muted.
Yeah. No.
Still muted.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. It was the internet or something. Gareth had to like reconnect. So
Weird. Okay.
yeah, I don't know.
So, as I said, we're going to cut away to Cella on her date.
Yep. Got a hot date. Hot date with the auntie. Oh boy.
Excuse me?
Watch out.
Cella, as she was flying around earlier, making her way down from the cliffs, I guess, kind of kept an eye out for the telltale sign, the cluster of black mushrooms at
Yes.
the edge of the forest.
You do see them at the foot of a cave entrance that is kind of tucked away on the far side of Durin.
I think she would have landed a mile from there or something and just taken her time kind of walking through the evening to get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that sounds right. So you approach the cave, and as you saw before, there are several of these black mushrooms that have kind of grown up at the entrance. And I can't remember. Cella doesn't have dark vision, right?
She has the dark vision goggles now.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I think
But yeah, it's because it's very dark now. Like the sun is set. It's nighttime. There's no torches, unless you light one.
I think she conjures her flame blade in one hand.
Oh, fancy. Okay, yeah.
She reaches her hand down to her side expectantly, and the blade forms in her hand out of fire.
All right. So you proceed into the mouth of the cave. It's dark and damp. You hear some water dripping from the walls. As you come in, you see more of these black mushrooms dotting the ground. And at the center, and this isn't a very big cave. It's kind of a little, only maybe about 10, 20 feet long. But as you come deeper into the cave, there's a mass of black mushrooms at the center of the cave. And they begin to writhe and move. And they kind of bulk up like into almost this hill, or the little mound. And then they scatter. And you hear a voice. Let's see if I can get this right. It says, "You have arrived, then."
Cella takes her flame blade and drives it into the ground so that it's just standing next to her,
Yes.
lighting the area.
So, what you see before you is your aunt. I'm going to show this.
Nice.
Do you guys see that?
Seems about right. Yep.
I found a good image, so I used it. Anyway.
Nice.
So then, you speak of ill tidings in the note you sent me.
Ill tidings, but true tidings, I'm afraid. We encountered one portal beneath Durin just yesterday. It's closed now, but it seems that there's more trouble ahead.
Yes. That is why I have come here in person. The situation is grave.
I fear it is, and while I know historically it's been better for us to keep to ourselves, these matters concern the life-death balance. And, well, you know that is our sacred duty. We're sworn to protect it, and I don't think isolationism will serve us here.
I agree, child. It has been our weakness for many years. It has allowed this corruption to spread unchecked.
I'm glad you see it that way.
Unfortunately, the circles have kept to themselves for too long. The elemental temples, as well, kept to themselves for too long. And now we are all to pay the price.
What do you think has to be done?
Let me tell you what I know. About a week ago, a member of one of the elemental temples had come to us. The Order of Dusk. It was a very strange occurrence, but it turns out he was no longer a member of one of the elemental cults. He was a runaway. He was from the cult of water. What he brings us, or what he told us, was disturbing indeed. For you see, the elemental, the shamans and druids who worshipped the elements of water have been turned. They have always had, within every circle, within every elemental shamanic group, there is always those who seek to be more hostile to civilization than others. Well, it seems as though the Water Temple has been overrun by those who would wish to seek civilization destroyed, and the more elemental forces to be brought to bear.
That is bad news.
And that is not all. Reaching out to other circles and shamanic groups, we have discovered that there was an outsider who has tried to influence them. A strange being. A skull with flames. Purple flames.
Yes. I'm afraid that those I've met here in Durin have, well, my new friends, they've seen the same thing.
There is no telling for how many years he has been active. But I suspect he was trying to reach the elemental temples.
And why would this pagan god Malkor care for the elemental temples?
If I were to guess, he seeks to use these cults for his own purposes. To twist them into destroying the continent. He is using us. She spits on the ground in disgust.
How? Well, I don't. Cella sighs and kind of looks up frustratedly. I've never been good at this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. But
Your task is to find the temples and destroy these cultists who seek to harness these elements to destroy everything else.
Cella kind of grins, a small grin to herself, trying not to let her aunt see that she's really pleased with that news. Yes, I will go. I will go gladly.
Yes. Beware this outsider. I have heard that he seems to be able to command death itself.
I think Cella makes like a warding sign, kind of like a Catholic crossing themselves.
Yeah.
Curse. Yeah.
All who have tried to use their druidic nature, the druidic magics against him have proven insufficient. All that touches him seems to die.
Then perhaps someone who wields the power of death themselves is exactly the adversary that Malkor should fear.
And at that, Valkyra smiles and says, "Yes, yes, child. Precisely my thoughts."
And what of the rest of the coven? What are you doing? Will you come to our aid?
We need to reach out to the other circles at this time. For you see, there is more than just one outsider. Others have come to us. It seems we are needed to
And
help bring the circles together and to, well, it sounds as if we are going to get caught up in something far bigger than just this world.
from what I've seen, I think you are right.
I will give you what I know of the locations of the temples. The water temple is in the great lake of Amakira Forest.
In the lake.
As far as I know. I have never been there, so I cannot say. The Temple of Earth lies deep in the underways, beyond the outside of Durin. Between the Badlands and Durin, before the Three Forts. The Temple of Wind lies in South Palon. And I do not know where the Temple of Fire is located.
None of the outsiders who have come to you are from the Circle of Fire.
No. Unfortunately not.
I see.
But it seems this runaway from the temple of from the water temple he speaks of this outsider, the skull demon. It seems he made contact with them. And through he found them, entered the temple.
I see. And Valkyra, our circle,
What?
are we safe? Are we safe from this influence?
I believe that we are, but I think it is simply out of ignorance. Simply put, the outsiders had not known of us.
Well, then it's been to our advantage, and I hope that it stays that way.
Indeed.
I will be as discreet as I can.
Now is the time, child, to use the fiery temper you have. I know you have. Just like your mother.
I wish I knew what she would do, but I will obey our leader's command. I will stay with this party who already seems bent on sorting out this whole conflict, and I will help them as I can, to the best that I can.
Good.
How will I reach you if I need you? It seems too slow to use the messengers.
Indeed. I'm actually trying to think here about What does Cella know? Send message.
I don't
Sending.
think so.
I don't know if druids can cast sending.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. Wait.
If they have any death clerics in their order, they could cast sending.
Well, I think I have an idea. She grabs a clump of the black mushrooms, hands them to you, and says, "These are connected to me. Take them. Speak with them, and I will hear."
As you command. And puts them in a pouch at her waist.
Okay. The will. And so you know the will of the coven, and so it must be done. And with that, the mushrooms coalesce around her again. And it just they fall to the ground and she is gone.
And Cella just she pulls the flaming sword out of the ground and kind of says to herself, "And so it must be done." And then walks out of the cave into the night.
All right.
I like that we've gotten so much good Cella backstories. It's been good.
Yeah, thanks, Drew.
This has been good.
Yeah.
For sure.
Love it.
It's been necessary.
My creepy aunt.
Yes.
I also kind of... What?
I said I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely how I imagined her.
Good. I'm glad I hit the mark.
Yeah. Oop, what's that?
Generally, where all of the different places, the different
Elemental temples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we don't know where the other one is.
Cool.
Didn't someone say something about fire earlier?
Yeah, fireballs.
Yeah.
Maybe the Circle of Wildfire knows.
Could
I thought
be.
that someone mentioned the fire temple earlier, but I guess we were wrong.
I don't
Well, they did. It's just that
They didn't say
no
the
one you've
location.
No
spoken,
one knows. Nobody knows where it is.
no one you've spoken to knows where it is.
All we know is earth,
Air
wind.
and water.
Well, Earth, Wind, and Water was not nearly successful of a band.
Yeah.
No.
Was it the prequel or the sequel?
Yeah, definitely has to be the sequel, because that's whenever they all got old and started touring casinos.
Yeah.
Oh,
every-
and
It's
one
a true
quick
band.
one quick thing. Yeah, the temple is in the lake.
In the
Sweet.
lake. Okay.
As far as we know.
Good
As far
thing
as
I
you
have
know.
some
And the
Pokemon
only
on
reason, and I'm
Earth.
just thinking about that, the person who escaped from the water temple to tell your aunt would totally be like, "Oh yeah, it's in the lake, by the way," or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Good thing
that
I can wild shape into swimming things.
Cast into a Gungan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, Misa Cha-Cha Pinks.
So.
I think Stella's got to go back and
Mhm.
tell the rest of the party.
Yeah,
Bring it on, son.
that's right.
She's pretty shaken as she walks into the bar.
Yeah. Oh, and
Um,
by the way, those pork chops come out, and they are fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Those are the best pork chops you've
Good.
ever eaten.
Are they the best pork chops you've ever eaten?
Yeah, Gerbo.
Gerbo's got high standards.
Yeah.
He just
Maybe not.
naturally has high standards, just because
Yeah,
the elf background.
sure.
So I would say I'm pretty satisfied with that. So at this point, I've been waiting in the bar for a while for
Anyone?
anybody, but Ephelien's there, but we're like, okay, what are we gonna do?
So I think at this point, everyone's going to kind of link back up, probably at Cella, Cella gathering everyone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Takes takes a long drink from Gerbo's drink.
Nice.
She's just mad.
You can
Doesn't even
gather.
drink.
You can gather in Ephelien's room while she's organizing all this meat. There's just blood everywhere.
That sweet meat
While she's
action.
handling all the meat.
That's right.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, Cella walks in and sits down and grabs Gerbo's flask or goblet or whatever he has. It's probably golden goblet out from in front of him, and takes a long swig.
Okay, roll initiative. I'm just kidding.
There's nothing that gets me feeling quite so childish and insecure as a conversation with my dear auntie. Well, I suppose I should get right to it. So this, without going into all of it, I'm from a coven of witches who live deep in the woods, and well, my aunt, who killed my mother in a very arcane ritual when I was a child, she is now the leader of the coven in the Church of Dusk, and she has told me that all of the elemental temples are now being overrun by Alakites of Malfour.
I thought I had a backstory. Okay, so I'll just. Where do we go? Where do you suggest?
She takes another shorter drink and says, well, as you may have had, I don't know if any of the rest of you had an inkling based on all of the stone golems we were encountering below, but we are in fact standing somewhere just above the Temple of Earth. It is deep in the underways near the Badlands.
I'm not going back down there.
How far in the underways?
My aunt said, couldn't give a specific distance, but quite far out underneath the Badlands. Significantly further than we went.
It could be a lot harder to find than the water one.
Those tunnels stretch for miles. They're not linear. It would, without any actual direction, that could take us ages just to find. Was there any other locations she mentioned?
Well, they're uncertain about the location of the Wind Temple, although an Aarakocra today confirmed, and my aunt as well, that it is somewhere in the south of Kalam, near the southern coast.
Okay.
But we do know specifically that the Water Temple lies in Thanis Lake.
Well, Thanis is at least the closest one to us.
But I doubt we'll ever be closer to the Earth Temple than we are now. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but I didn't think that you would ever plan to come back to Durin again.
Well, getting to the underways and coming back into the being seen, two separate things.
Are we sure that the only entrance to the underways is the one that we know of?
Oh no, there's many entrances into the underways, especially the further we get towards the lookout towers. That's how the orcs raided it in the first place, was through those very doors.
So then, why do we think that we have to come back to Durin?
Well, I suppose we don't.
I don't believe we do.
What if we go to Thanis Lake and convince the person there who is guarding it to, once we threaten him or her or it with death, threaten it and tell it that it needs to tell us how to enter the earth?
Very diplomatic, Master Gnome. I can tell that your years in court truly refined your aptitude for diplomatic conversation.
I will.
Yes, and then I kind of pull out the helm of telepathy and I say, maybe we could coax it out of him without him knowing.
That's a good idea.
Isn't it, Master
personally, I'm emotionally distraught and would rather just get away. I don't mind coming back through underways, but I've said my goodbyes at least 3 times now, and would much rather leave. So if no one's opposed to going to Fanis, then I could use a change of scenery.
I will go where I need to do my job, but I would definitely prefer to be in the woods than be stuck underground.
My aunt has asked that I pursue these abnormalities as long as it takes to right them, and so I will be going with you wherever you think we should go.
Gerbo,
I plug the rest of my beer, and then I say, "We leave it on."
so be it.
All right.
And I'm actually going to fall asleep tonight.
Oh, you're actually going to... That's good, because I was going to make you take a point of exhaustion otherwise.
Yeah, I know. It's good, though. That's fine. I get it. That makes sense. But my character is now going to get back the spell slots and...
Yeah, you're actually going to recover.
Yep.
Good thing I didn't have you go into combat or anything. That would have been awkward.
That wouldn't have been good. I'm going to be honest. Wouldn't have been great. Wouldn't have been good for my character. But, you know,
Right.
that's okay.
So you guys have decided to head to the water temple.
I'll fill those 3 crystals with spells.
What do you fill them with?
Summon bestial spirit,
Nice.
because I know I'm going to
Makes
use
sense.
that. So
That makes a lot of sense. That's a good use for them. All right. Well, I mean, I don't really have anything else prepared. Now that I know where you guys are going, I can begin preparing that.
No,
well, I mean, we can
Drew-
prepare what we're going to do.
Do
yeah,
I?
We can discuss exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, go ahead.
And one thing also, in preparation for our next session, I'd like to spend some time with you, Drew, just like
Mhm.
hammering out some details around like my knowledge of this area.
Yeah, sure.
And like that way, as we play it, I have good data to work with because
Yeah.
I want to be as knowledgeable as possible.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine to spend some time like once you have a good understanding of what you're wanting to do with it and like what knowledge to give me, I'm good to set up a time with you that just like goes over the details.
Right.
Fun.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just thinking,
And
like, I want to be a specialist about this area and kind
well,
of have
yes.
some good knowledge.
Well, the Elvish area is pretty weird because it's a lot like Somalia, right? There's no central government.
Right.
There's some noble houses that kind of run their own territories. There are communes that exist.
It's
So
kind of wild.
it's a wild area. So
Yeah. And so there's a lot to kind of consider in like where we go and how we get there and like
right.
how we communicate with people and stuff.
You can always return home.
It's an option. It's like one of those. I have some ideas for sure.
Nice.
That's cool.
So there's that. What else are you guys going to try and plan? Or are you planning to do?
Are we planning to do?
Yeah.
Well, I know how we can find our way in. It'll just take a lot of scouting.
Well, luckily, you're a great scout, and I can fly.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that go in and out, so all we have to do is watch for them and see where they go in and out at.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I feel like this whole thing is kind of on a clock. I definitely feel like Cella feels the time crunch, so we'll probably like we'll want to get there as fast as possible, not a whole lot of like downtime and, stopovers and side quests and stuff. I think she'll be pretty single-minded to get to the lake.
That's fair. She's got a goal. She's got a. It's the Order of the Coven. So.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't know that little detail about your mother.
Ah, I
Yeah.
have a whole thing imagined, but I think I'll wait to like reveal the details of that
Okay.
like another
Time. Yeah.
How much weight can a giant eagle hold?
I don't know. It's a
pretty
large
big.
it's a large beast. So
Yeah.
I just assume they're the same size as the ones in Lord of the Rings, so they could easily carry a person.
Gerbo could ride on. Are you about to try to manipulate me to let you ride in on my back for you to make an entrance?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. Look at that smile. I know him.
Yeah, dude.
Been together for 7 years. I know that
If
smile.
look, if when it comes down to it, my family in this city has not seen me in like
Years.
hundreds of years.
It's been a while.
It's like been a long time.
Yeah.
So if I could make an entrance riding a freaking eagle, like let's talk about that. Like
Okay.
there's something there.
Okay. All right.
So I've got some plans. They're not fully fleshed out, but there's something there for sure.
Sure.
It might not happen. But it also it could.
Yeah.
Hey, remind me where the gnomes live?
The gnomes actually kind of live basically in. Oh crap! Whoops. Gotta ping it. It's like right here.
Okay.
Kind of in this area.
Okay. Like on the border between the. I mean, that makes sense because there's like rock gnomes and what,
Yeah.
like the forest gnomes? Is that the other kind? What's the other kind?
Yeah. That's kind of their proximate
Mhm.
location.
Yep, and then we can kind of maybe as we do more of the area, we can kind of refresh the backstory around my character, considering I guess Cella doesn't know anything about my character.
Other than her many interactions with you by now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
other
for
than
sure.
Your scroll that you try to show her every day since she's known you.
At will.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least once every day.
Now you have a ranger, druid, and a barbarian with you, so the least interested people possible in being a noble.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That's actually true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like interesting. Like, cool. Thanks, by the way. Next.
I mean, you have no competition, I guess. So
Yeah.
there you
Like,
go.
we could all be happy living out in the woods,
Right.
except for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like like in a like one of these things is not like the other.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
But we've got to have somebody to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the opposite of a tiefling.
You
It's
mean
true.
Ardea, the opposite of Ardea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is true. I loved that. That was just such a funny quirk about her character. I loved it. It was so fun.
She's
When she was trying to flirt with those other tieflings, I used a spell to give her advantage on charisma, and it didn't help very much.
no,
It didn't help very much. That's amazing.
no, it did not help.
Only so much you can do there, I'm afraid.
No, it was only so much.
And then there was wingman jokes, because, Birdman.
Right, right.
Wingman.
You had to have the wingman jokes.
It's amazing.
I'm excited to flesh out more of the Druid lore with you also. And
That's
I know
right.
we did like a really brief, quick exchange there before the session.
Yeah,
I feel like for the next bit of the arc, it would be nice to know
a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of how I broadly envisioned it is that there are shamanic groups in druidic circles, and they're the most attuned with like nature and natural forces.
Yeah.
And some of them are more interconnected than others. But I imagine like the Order of Dusk, as you would, as your coven in particular,
Mm-hmm.
is probably more isolated than most.
Yeah.
Like, there's some element, like some that are more attuned with like water or wind or earth might have more natural allies, but I feel like you guys would be kind of more isolated.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what's happened is that all the circles, all the shamanic circles, have been more isolated in recent years, which has kind of allowed all of this to escalate.
Gotcha. Like, how many druids are there in the world?
It's a good question.
Is this a big group?
I mean,
Probably a small group for each of the circles.
yeah. I mean, it could be, I don't know, maybe in the hundreds.
Yeah. Like I told you, I feel like the Order of Dusk, I feel like that would be like 13. That's a traditional like
Yeah.
coven.
Right. Yeah, that's very small. But probably not that small as far as like a normal circle.
Mm.
They're probably very small by nature. Like these elemental temples are kind of the exception, or at least they have been historically,
Mm.
because these are more of the primal forces. And to kind of elaborate a little further, these are kind of like they're focused on focal points of elemental magic that flows through the world.
So like Circle of the Land, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
Just to kind of give you a broad idea of what I have in mind.
I need to message you. I guess I need to tell you about what I think for the rest of the backstory.
Yeah.
To flesh it out.
And
Yeah.
I'll kind of do my work as well, Gareth, and kind of get back to you.
Yeah, that's great.
More fleshed out. Like I know
Yeah.
I kind of fleshed out the family you grew up with
Mhm.
and the broader history of the Elvish
Yeah.
lands.
That's super cool.
I'm excited for more of Gerbo's backstory.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can talk more about it because I've got some because just like when I look at like my stat sheet and like what I'm like highly proficient with, like history,
Mhm.
like investigation, those kind of things, like those like I think I like obviously in like being of house like Emmaus's house and everything, like the studious kind of side of that is like isn't as played to as much just because it's like it's not in this campaign that's just not something that would like be fun to play, you know what I mean, but
Yeah.
like is natural to my character.
Yeah.
And so, and then casually, plus 10 acrobatics. So I don't really know how that
Casually.
but yeah. So
I mean, you have met Emmaus.
yeah,
I'll say that much. You've met him.
yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
And is like I guess like the thin place that Ephelien crossed over from, is that also up in the Amakira woods, in the Amakira forest?
No, she just kind of appeared.
she's kind of showed up.
Gotcha.
Somewhere within range of Durin, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I forget like the name of her race, like the type of elf.
The
Eldritch?
Eladrin.
The Eladrin.
But they're like descended from the same the same elves that are in the Amakira forest, right? Like they share a common ancestor. Did I remember that right, or did I
Basically,
make that up?
They
Yeah,
do.
they're like regular elves kind of evolved from Eladrin.
Gotcha. Eladrin's like
They're from like the Fey land,
gotcha.
Fey world.
Right. It's like gnomes, elves, Eladrin. They all kind of have the same kind of point of origin.
Yeah.
Like they diverged from Fae originally. Is that right? Probably other races as
Roughly,
well.
yeah. They all have Fey heritage, so something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And satyrs, I guess.
Yeah, satyrs.
Well, we spent a lot of time around humans, and we've spent a fair amount of time around dwarves, and now we'll get to spend some time around elves and gnomes.
Yeah.
Fun.
Oh,
Isn't Nahid from somewhere over there?
Nahid actually hails from a monastery that comes from Palan,
Mhm.
but she was a half elf.
Right.
What was
And-
it again? Because it had like it was something to do with the river.
Yeah.
Yes, I haven't put in the rivers, but it's basically around this location.
Nice, cool.
Like the river kind of flows here and ends wherever the river ends or flows to. That's where the monastery is.
Yeah, that's right. Because it like
Yes.
came because it was like healing waters or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
I mean, that's
Thank
cool.
you for remembering the backstory of my previous character.
That's right.
That's what I get paid to do.
I mean, I had a whole potential revelation about her mother, all lined up.
Maybe
If we-
the party will still discover it.
Perhaps
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
Jake gets to play the memory of Nahid and Cella.
Or the ghost.
Yeah, or
Oh, the ghost of Nahid. There
Ghosts
we
are
go.
a thing.
The ghost of Nahid.
dude, that's actually pretty legit.
But
We could do
she'd
something
see
like that.
she would be forever cursed because she'd never be able to catch anything, even as a ghost.
That's
sad. I never
amazing.
caught a
Oh my
single
god.
missile. It was such a cool ability.
It was
and I
such a
never
cool
got to
ability,
catch
but
one.
you never got to catch it.
I legitimately never. I don't know why it never occurred to me. I was like, you know what? Like I'd never made a conscious decision of like, you know what? I'm gonna have no archers as enemies ever for any reason. I just consciously never had archers or anything.
It's really funny. That's okay. It's okay. It was almost better in a way that I never did catch anything. Almost really better. So
Right.
yeah, character.
So let's see. You picked Braundir picked Sentinel for his feet.
That's cool. Remind me what it is again. Remind me the details.
Yeah. Here, well, I guess it's be faster on be behind
Yeah, I think you should be able to just link it.
features traits. Oh, the puppies are back.
So cute.
I hear him. I hear their little cough on the floor.
I know they've been over at Grandma's house for the last few days.
Oh my god.
Hello, sweet girl.
Nice. That is cool.
On my finger, Andy. Hey, but
Sentinel's pretty good.
yeah. So those are three things.
That's so cool.
So pretty much what it is if I'm fighting somebody and they try to strike somebody else, I immediately get to, or they try to get away, I immediately get an opportunity of attack as normal. But the difference is, if I hit them on that opportunity, they stop moving. So they can't take the hit and then keep moving. The second thing is that if somebody, what is it? If they disengage and try to get away, it doesn't matter. Anytime they try to get away,
it doesn't matter.
if they try to get away by using opportunity of attack, or if they try to disengage and leave, it doesn't matter. I can still get opportunity of attack no matter what. And then the last thing is, if there's an enemy within 5 feet of me, and they hit somebody else, a friendly, then I get to hit them too. So if I say there's like think about the last battle we did out front of Gearhead's house, and I was surrounded by 3 different enemies. Everybody was flanking each other. So anytime that one of those enemies would have hit Brett's bear or Cella or whatever, anytime they would have made an attack, I would have got to have a reaction to each one of those, which would have then awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
So
basically, you're incentivizing them to attack you, and then you take half damage.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
yes,
Oh,
while I'm raging.
nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
That is cool.
so I was going between being able to break contact and go and protect somebody, or draw more contact in towards me, and I chose this.
Personally,
one.
I feel like that's more Braundir's style.
Yeah, he's always in the thick of it.
I think it is.
He's always in the middle of it.
Yeah. I worked on his new Hero Forge miniature and took off his cape and gave him half plate armor. The armor doesn't look super cool, but it works, I guess. But I gave him a ring on his left pinky for Nikki's ring.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And yeah, they've done pretty good stuff with Hero Forge last year.
Yeah.
That's
What up?
neat. I'm gonna have to make a new one.
I've
for
been getting a
Cella.
bunch of emails about it. I haven't looked it up though. I haven't looked up the new things lately though.
Well, they're doing this one thing about like they'll paint it for you, and it costs you an arm and a leg, but that's the Kickstarter on it.
That's cool.
Nice. Yeah,
So-
but it does cost a lot of
I don't
money.
know if it's worth. I don't know, like if we should still do one if we don't have a tabletop. But
Oh, it's true.
I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
It'd be
you
for
just- if you, yeah, it'd be of sentimental value more than anything at this point.
Yeah. But
Sentiment.
it could be fun. It could be fun.
I mean, we can always have. I mean, I've just been like all the image, like the 3 images I've shown you guys, are all from Pinterest.
Yeah, that's
No,
where Jet got
no.
her thing.
Yeah, I do a lot of like sketch inspo on there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of good fantasy art, and
Yeah.
deviant art is like just a black hole of inspo also.
Ooh, I haven't been on that website in
Yeah.
like 20
But I feel like
years.
the Pinterest search
Yeah,
engine is
deviant
more
art.
into
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yep, it's still around.
and a
It-
lot of the stuff on Pinterest is a link to deviant art.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I haven't been on DeviantArt since I was in like 10th grade or something.
Yeah.
I pretty much just found the art I really liked and made the character around the art.
Yeah, that's what Brett did.
That's
That's
really
cool.
that's
I'm
really
working
cool.
on my own sketch of Cella though. It's
Yeah.
like 80% done. Just the fun details that are going to make it come to life need to
Oh
happen.
yeah.
But,
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's funny is I haven't really found a satisfying picture for Beastbane.
Oh yeah.
And you'd think it wouldn't be that hard.
You can get one of him
Yeah.
like sliding in the oil.
There's also something about using it to the imagination. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know if he's actually, I've forgotten by this point what he's supposed to look like. And so in my brain, he's like got the bald on top and like scruff around the edges, and he's like super burly and always scowling and like really barrel chested.
Yeah. It's
I don't know.
pretty accurate, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a big full black beard. I mean, he has the eye patch. He's got yeah, he's like super
laundry.
thick.
It's clean.
yeah.
But now you get to make elf NPCs.
That's
and
right.
gnomes.
You get to
And there's
make
a
all-
billion arts of elves, so
Oh yeah. Well, Drew, thank you so much for all the hard work that you're doing. I feel like.
and this is actually part of like the water, like these temples.
Uh-huh.
This is actually the part of it's from the module.
From the module. Oh, from the one that we're playing, the War
Yeah.
of Balls. Oh, nice.
Like well, it's like they call it Prince of the Apocalypse, but it was known as the Temple of Elemental Evil, or the Temples of Elemental Evil. But yeah,
It was like super old, like first edition stuff, and then they redid it recently.
yeah,
And now he's pretty much going to use the dungeons and then put them
Right.
inside his world.
yeah. Like so that dungeon, for instance, that you guys are in, that's one of the pre-made maps.
Nice.
So that's what I've been doing is I've been kind of grafting in like the stuff that I can use and put it into my setting.
So that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's,
save yourself if it fits. Like save yourself don't reinvent the wheel. You know.
Yeah, that's my thought. And Brett's done. I think it was You guys don't know about Curse of Strahd, I don't think.
It's
But he
gothic
bought
horror.
that module. Gothic horror D&D.
I don't know about Curse of Strahd now.
That's another old school one that they remade. It's gothic horror and it's really cool.
Yeah. You like
playing
the whole
that.
story is you get transported to like a pocket dimension called Barovia, and it's ruled by a vampire lord named Strahd.
Oh.
In order for you,
He basically has a abusive relationship with a girl that keeps reincarnating.
yeah, that's kind of the rub about that dimension is that anyone who dies, it's not really the end. Their spirit gets reincarnated into something else.
Oh, nice. So how do you ever get rid of anybody?
It's
Don't.
hard. And one of our players is playing that girl, so she has an evil vampire lord chasing after her all the time.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And worse stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the last session, the abbot they met asked to have her face because he was building a flesh golem to give to Strahd.
Yeah.
And
Gross.
so he asked her if he could cut her face off, like just nonchalantly. I need your face.
Very casually.
Yeah.
That's holy. That's very macabre.
I'm going to need your face now.
That's
Yeah.
very macabre and very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
there's
I'm
even
actually
darker
playing a
stuff than that.
paladin in that game.
Yeah, that sounds like the opposite of the world that he has been thrust into.
Yes.
Yeah, he started out like just didn't understand how dark things could be. Just like, I will slay the evil.
Like
And
he
now-
he's like a super young, super naive paladin who got some top tier training, but he has no idea how the real world works. He's like, I'm here to slay evil. I've come to save these damsels in distress.
That's hilarious.
He's kind of Don Quixote-esque.
It was very Don Quixote-esque. That was the intention, but now, after just a few months in Barovia, that shit's completely gone now.
That's hilarious.
Mainly because he ended up getting addicted to pies, a certain type of pie. And it turns out those pies were made by a group of hags that were a coven.
They managed to kill them all, though.
We did manage to kill them all. And we even saved a few children that they were eating.
Jesus.
No, they weren't eating. You were eating them. They were making the
Oh.
pies out of the children.
Oh, no.
Of course they were.
Why y'all
Of
gotta
course
be,
they were.
Why y'all gotta be so dark all the time?
Because this is the setting.
Yeah, Curse of Strahd's real dark.
Curse of Strahd's very dark.
My other game I'm playing with my cousins is just giants and dragons and Norse stuff. It's the total opposite.
Yeah.
That's fine. The classic Tolkien-esque fantasy.
Well, my character in that one's pretty fun. His name is Darley, and he's a Goliath. So those are like 8 feet tall. And he is a ranger.
Gosh, that's awesome.
And he's a swarm keeper. And he has a swarm of squirrels. That, like, they're just all over his body at any given time.
That's hysterical.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
so
even
good.
better because the way the swarm mechanics work is that when you agitate the swarm, your swarm deals 1d6 damage with an attack that you deal. So he can fire arrows. And I'm imagining like a squirrel is on the arrow and he fires it, and the squirrel like lands, like it hits and it lands and does so much damage.
Squirrels eating people.
It's awesome.
Yeah, squirrels eating people.
That is
Giants,
hilarious.
usually.
That is very imaginative.
I love that
makes
so
me
much.
happy.
Yes, crazy squirrel man. It's pretty funny.
That makes me happy.
He also constantly tries to befriend every animal in the game that they've encountered.
That's very in character.
Like there was like goblin like wargs, like wargs that he tried to befriend. He almost did it.
Almost. And that very last time he rolled a crit fail.
Yep, it just all went to nothing.
Dang.
But then he befriended a what are they called?
A Tressum?
A tressum. It's like a weird cat with wings kind of thing. But anyway, he named it Thora.
I
Oh
can.
my god.
He's naming all of his squirrels too, but he's gonna run out of names really fast.
Yeah. Well, see, every squirrel, like if a squirrel has to be brought up a particular name, they're all going to be Old Norse themed names.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh
That's
my
very
god,
imaginative.
that's just so dang funny.
It
Oh,
has
yeah.
been fun to play a new character, to get to imagine somebody new.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I definitely see the appeal in reinventing every once in a while.
I had to replace all my other games with online games because no one can play in person. So
Yeah, right.
How are you guys doing outside of D&D? How is life?
Well,
Sydney just got back.
ah,
Hello!
We were
How are
actually curious on if you had a status update